have to do right what you do wrong.
Veronica stars Sandra Escachina, Bruna Gonzalez, and is directed by Pablo Paca. What's up, guys? Netflix has been putting out a lot of really interesting horror content lately. Recently I did The Ritual, and then what's funny is they'll just drop it without any kind of warning, and then all of a sudden people will be talking about it. And Veronica is a new movie that was hailed as, now by the marketing campaign, one of the scariest movies to come out in a long time. So with a tagline like that, it piqued my interest. I thought I need to check this movie out. So, is it that scary? We'll get into that. Now guys, also I will be talking about some spoilers after the rating in this movie because there is a couple things I do want to talk about. But Veronica is actually based on a true story from 1991. There was this case about this girl named Veronica, even though in the true story her name wasn't Veronica. But she wanted to connect with her father, so she pulls out this Ouija board with her two friends, Deanne and Rosa, and they do this spell on the Ouija board. And she doesn't communicate with her father, she ends up unleashing something else. So immediately after her Ouija board spell, all these weird things start happening in the house. This is stuff that we see all the time in these types of films. But this one just happens to be based on a true story. So that did pique my interest a little bit more. Now, the first thing I really want to talk about is Pablo Paca, the director. He actually directed the Wreck movies. I have not seen those movies, but a lot of people have told me those are actually pretty decent. And after watching Veronica, I can tell the guy does know horror. There are quite a few scenes in this movie that are pretty chilling, and that is because of the way these scenes are directed. He uses quite a few different camera techniques to make the scenes pretty chilling. Sometimes he uses CGI, but I like a well-rounded director, one that doesn't use the same trick over and over and over. So that kept me on edge. Like every time there was a scene that you felt like something scary was about to happen, you didn't know how it was going to happen because, like for instance, there's one scene where our main character Veronica, she's eating, and when she puts the fork in her mouth, some weird things start happening. The fork starts shaking, and you don't really know how that scene's going to play out, but it's pretty damn creepy. And I do like that most of the scares in this movie seem to take place in the daylight, not in the nighttime. The third act of the movie is mostly at night, and that is probably the creepiest part of the movie. But to the movie's benefit, I do like the characters in this movie. I like the relationship between Veronica and her siblings. She really has to take care of her siblings by herself because her mother is a hard-working single mother. She does not have time at all to spend with her children. And this does come up in the movie too. There is this rift between Veronica and her mother. She resents her mother for not taking the time to spend with her. And the mother really can't help it. She has to work. So I'm sure there's a lot of families that struggle with this actually, especially single parent families. There's also this interesting character called Sister Death, and she is this nun who is blind, and she really takes the place as the elder guide in the movie, the one that Veronica goes to seek advice. How do I combat this thing? And if you guys notice, I'm being very careful about this thing and what this thing is. I don't want to give anything away, but we will talk about that in the spoiler section. But one thing I did find interesting that Sister Death did state was that to take God out of the equation, you can beat this thing just by closing the door. Your religion doesn't really have to be a part of it. Now, this thing can't summon evil through religion, but to get rid of it, you can just take religion out of the equation. And I thought that was interesting because I've never seen a paranormal movie that doesn't really depend on religion as much. And lastly, the thing I did like about this was it definitely has that Stranger Things vibe to it, especially in the score. And it deals with children. It deals with Veronica and her siblings. And there were quite a few times where I was getting that Stranger Things vibe from this. And it was actually kind of fun. Now, let's talk about the cons. I guess the big thing is when you're going to market a movie as being the scariest movie in a long time, you better live up to that, and this one did not do that at all. I was not scared one time throughout this whole movie. As a matter of fact, I could probably think of at least 5 movies that came out in the last 5 years that are much scarier than this. It Follows is one of them. It Follows was like bone chilling. This one, not really at all. Some of you might find some of this scary, but I really didn't find any of it scary. That doesn't take away from the entertainment value of this. I was interested in the story that was going on. I wanted to see how it all played out. For that, I did enjoy it. Is it something that I would watch again? Maybe, maybe not. I might try it again in October just to see how it is, but I will definitely give this a high humdrum. Can't quite get it to a purchase worthy, but it's a very well-made movie by Pablo Paca. I have to give it that. It's definitely not going to be in my worst of the year list, I promise you that. Okay, now let's talk about some spoilers. Really just one big thing, the ending of this movie. Throughout this whole thing, Veronica is combating this evil being or demon or whatever. And then in the end, we find out that it's actually her. The demon's still there, but it actually uses her as a vessel, and she never realizes that through this whole thing. She's trying to protect her siblings, and the whole time she's, near them, they're in danger. So the best thing she can do for them is to be away from them. And also, the demon itself looked like an alien. I think that's the first time I've seen a demon in like a paranormal movie that looked like an alien. Like it really looked like an alien. It kind of reminded me of the alien that was in Signs. And I guess the big spoiler is Veronica died at the end of this movie. Right at the beginning, we see the detectives coming in and they hear this shriek. And then that's pretty much the big reveal. At the end, we hear the shriek again. And it was weird visually because you have like the demon with its hand inside Veronica's mouth and it kills her. Pretty much. Actually, you could develop your own theories about what that meant visually at the end, but one thing we do know is that Veronica did die. And in real life, the real person actually died. She died a couple months after the events, but yeah. So anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on Veronica? Post below in the comments. Looking forward to hearing them. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks where we talk horror all day and every day, and on Fridays we do Free For All Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and now Stardust, where I record my 30-second reviews just about every day. I'll probably do one for this right after this. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and Drumdum out.